Thank you, Casey. And I want to stick on the last thing that you've said there, the diversity that kind of came to my mind when you were presenting earlier as well. So it must be a great mechanism to get a lot of diversity of opinions into the team, really nice representations from all across the organization. So we have a colleague asking, how do you ensure that contingency of innovation in the face of volunteer rotation? And he says, chances the newcomer might have a different view to the person who was leading the initiative initially or something. So has there ever been a situation where you handed a project over to someone who felt it should be going into a rather different direction, or where the discrepancies between where different volunteers working on a project at different points of time wanted to see it going? And if so, how do you handle those?
I think that oftentimes it just comes to certain rules of engagement that is, as we call them at the lab, and any type of workshop that we do. Also, we do have these rules of engagement where we establish that the respect and it is crucial, and then also to keep the visions that have been established since the beginning. And then if there is a lead that at a certain point comes in and to lead on a project that it's running already, there is a timeline, there is a work plan that it's ongoing. So those activities they need to be accomplished, and the milestones need to be finished anyways, right? If the person has a totally radical vision opposed to that, we try to conceal. So we are open to conversation and to listening. That's another one of our rules of engagement. But we know that at the lab there is there is as a common understanding that we need to listen to each other, and we need to really concede. Once we have like very radical visions, we need to voice them, but we need to also learn to listen to the others and find the middle ground. So I think that that's pretty much how it runs. It goes by very organically. I think that nobody just dares to impose too much of you, because you know that the dynamic, we already have a working culture that embraces a lot of the productive criticism. So we're very open to that. But just when there is no a lot of ground for that, that we just discuss with the person personally and just arrange like if there are some sensitivities involved. But I think that it goes, also the persons really adapt very quickly to the working culture that we have at the lab. Yeah.
Very nice. And
I think it also goes to the horizontal decision-making structure, because to the greatest extent possible, we do try to take decisions by consensus. So even if you have a new project lead who comes on and they say, I want to do a completely different thing with the Innovation Heroes. Actually, I mean, we probably would be quite open to hear what they want to say, because each year we're like, okay, how do we need to change and make this better? So a lot of times there's already quite a bit of openness to kind of radical ideas, but it's also if I come in with a crazy idea and I'm very firmly over here, with my ideas, I still have to pitch them to the rest of the lab, and I still have to explain my rationale, and then they need to agree with me. So it's not just I get to come in and say, we're going to do X, Y, or Z on this activity because I say so. It's more of like, I'll come and say, I want to do this with this activity because I feel that it would be a better, whatever, impact. And then the rest of the lab can discuss and disagree and agree. And eventually you do arrive at something that's usually more palatable for everyone, and also a better fit actually for the organization. So granted, it does take some time when you're doing consensus decision making, but I do think that's one of the ways that we have approached kind of how we bring in ideas and ultimately process them into the final product.